Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Danny from The Glittered Rose. You can find me under that name on Etsy and also over on Instagram. I'm going to preface this video with bear with me. I had some dental work done yesterday and I'm not feeling too great. I wanted to hop on and do some art because that's my happy place. I'm not feeling too great. I'm on some strong medication and my brain isn't working too fast. I know that I don't sound too great, but I really felt like doing some art. I also wanted to create a video to remind you all of my competition that's running at the moment. I will link the video up above to remind you all of how you can go about winning a art journal if that interests you. There's only a few more days to enter, so I just wanted to remind my subscribers of how you go about entering that competition. So I created this spread. I think it's really sweet. I knew I wanted to make something really easy, so that's what I've done here. So if this is of any interest, if you want to, see how I created this simple spread, stick around. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And thanks for bearing with me. All right, let's get into it. All right, so I've got this gorgeous collage sheet. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet. Um, Etsy's not really working for me at the moment. I think, for Etsy to work, you need to charge a decent amount of money, and it's too much. So I'm thinking of moving over to a different platform so that I can provide my collage sheets at a decent price for everyone. And so that I can share them and people can get use out of them without needing to charge too much. So I'm going to look around at different options. If anyone's got some suggestions, let me know. I'm thinking, like a little flat fee of a few bucks a month, something like that. I don't want to make a fortune, but if I can try and cover the costs of running these things, I'd be happy. I'm not trying to make money out of everyone, but something that would help cover my fees, that would be nice. With my images, I take time, I make sure that, each hand has 5 fingers. You won't find 6 or 7 fingers on one hand. Um, yeah, so I do put a lot of time into my images and I use them, I make them for myself and I love being able to share them with people. So that's that's why I make them. So, all right. I'm just trying to choose which image. I know I want to use the samurai, and I might use the geisha. I think that they go nicely together. Got a bit of a mix. I've got that modern geisha in the top right. My daughter really loved her, so I had to include her. Um, but I knew I wanted to use my square art journal because I haven't used it yet. These are the two sizes. If you join my competition and if you win, you'll get the choice between the square or the rectangle. So um, I'll also link the video in the description of how you go about entering it. These are the two different sizes. All right, I'm going to cut out those two images and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have taped down the middle of my pages. So I've just taken the pages out of my art journal and I've taped them down with some low tack tape This is just a better press tape from Couture Creations, but a washi tape or a low tack tape would work. And I printed off some tissue paper. So I use a normal piece of printer paper as a carrier sheet, and I've printed off a background piece of um, a background image, and I've printed that off. Sorry, um, and printing this. Sorry, gluing this down. I did warn you, brain is not functioning too well today. So I do find printing on to tissue paper is just such an easy way to get a lovely background. It's quick and it gives you such a soft textural background, especially if you leave some wrinkles in, gives you extra texture. You can also layer it up so you know it's darker in some spots. One of my subscriber, Bobette, mentioned that she doesn't like using foreign language because she doesn't know you don't know what it says, which is a very valid point. Um, I'm not too concerned because it's just going in an art journal. It's only me who's seeing it. And of course, whoever's watching this video. So this looked like an old map, sort of a watercolory map, Japanese style, with some calligraphy. The tissue paper that I'm using is Dina Wakley, and I like this because it goes through the printer really well. There's no real thick fibrous strips through it. Sometimes there is. I just tape it down using some like some sellotape. I do have a video on how to print on it. I'm not able to link it up the top because I've already linked my competition video, but I will put a link in my description box in the video in case you're interested in seeing how to print on tissue paper. As I'm going for a super simple and easy art journal spread, I'm going to pay attention to how this background's looking. So I'll probably layer a little bit so that the actual background's looking pleasing. To save my mouth, I'm going to probably speed this up and pop on a bit of music. So as you can see, I kind of want it still looking messier, but I do want it to have some flow. So I want it to come down from the edges. I still want it to have some white space, but um, yeah, so it sort of being blocky along the edges, but still coming down, if that makes sense. And that's looking pretty good to me. I'm liking the flow of that. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some gesso and going to push that back a little bit. I don't think I need to do a lot because since it was tissue paper, it's not a lot. Um, if it was printed on white paper, it would be a lot heavier than it is. It's already quite translucent. So just going to push it back into the background a little bit. But just by doing this, it makes it look more like it's one piece, if that makes sense. Brings it all together. And I actually picked up the white gesso rather than the clear gesso for once. Lately I've been picking up the clear gesso and wondering why it's not well white. I'm just dabbing it on lightly. Doesn't need to be thick. The great thing with gesso is that it's nice and translucent so you can see what's behind it. But it just gives it that sort of out of focus look while still seeing what's behind it, if that makes sense. Um, I'm going to dry it off and then I'll be back with the next step. Okay, so I think I want to do some scribbles in that gesso. Um, some red, just to bring in the red because the images have a lot of red in them. And I think this Stabilo or red will probably be a really good match. So I'm just holding the pencil at the top and just going to do some scratchy lines in into the gesso. Just holding it really loosely. And really, it just sort of looks like it's in that tissue paper. There's a little bit of red in the tissue paper. Tossing up now. Do I want to make it wet or do I want to leave them scratchy? I don't know. I feel a little self-conscious with those marks, so I might wet them, make them a little less obvious. Funny, isn't it? I don't know. Some people do beautiful handwriting, and somebody in the Glittered Roses, which is a Facebook group that I run, has done some beautiful writing in her journal. And I'm so envious of that. I just could never do that. Wish I could. Too self-conscious, I think. That's good. I like that now. I'm just grabbing an archival ink, black soot ink pad and an All and Create stamp. Just an interesting sort of a textural stamp. And when you're stamping in gesso, it never works perfectly. So that's good for me because I don't want a perfect stamping. I just want just a little bit of extra sort of layers and texture. Just stamping just to add a bit of interest. I'd encourage art journalists to have a look at All and Create and their line. They've really got some interesting stamps for backgrounds and things like that. I really do like their things. Very creative, I think. Oh, that's looking pretty cool. I like that. I'm just going to do a rough edge. These are just my distress crowns. I have to say am really loving using watercolor paper that I can just pull out of my art journal I think the ease is just fantastic. It's something I'm really loving. So I hope whoever wins one of these journals enjoys it like I'm enjoying it. That's really cool. It's something a little bit different for me, but in person, I think that it's really effective. Just wash my fingies off. They're a bit mucky from the crayons. So I'm going to follow those red splashes that are in the pictures, and I'm going to splash some lumberjack blade on the pages. Just give them a light splash. Nope, I don't love that. Do you ever just wish you have a time machine and you could go back and not do what you just did? For me, this is one of those times. I do prefer it before I did that. I could always throw these pages out and start again, throw out this footage, but you know what? Everyone makes mistakes and that's how we learn. Dubbing, dubbing, it's just making it worse. Oh well. Oh, I'm going to glue these down and we'll finish it off with some embellishments. Faraway places and daring adventures. I think that sounds pretty cool. Pretty suitable too. So I'm just going around with my Stabilo ore now. Colour it in. That looks pretty good. Um, I'll just wet it down a bit just to soften the edge. Then I'll look for some other embellishments. So with the running theme of I want this as easy as possible, the embellishment is going to be as easy as possible. I'm making a bird's nest of red thread and I'm just going to hot glue down a bee charm and going to call it done. I think that this spread turned out really nicely, even though I'm not a fan of those red splatters. I think that it's quite nice. I really like that. I really like the tissue paper background. Um, yeah, I'm really happy with it. Thanks so much for sticking with me, even though I'm not on my A game. And be sure to check out my competition. I'd really love it if we had as many entries as possible. And remember, it's open to everyone around the world. I'll post it anywhere in the world. Good luck. All right, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I'm really hoping to hit 6,000 by the end of the year. It's been a roller coaster of a ride this year. I've really, really loved getting my channel off the ground. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the spread. I think for an easy spread, I think it turned out really well. All right, guys. Till next time. Bye for now.